Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video we are gonna see, what if Naruto got harem with Fem Kyubi? Part 1. Huge shout out to AlchemistSushiPanda for this story. If you want more awesome fan fiction like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. The young boy with blonde hair, perhaps the age of 11 or 12, burst through the complicated passageways that was Konoha's red light district. Behind him was a crowd of drunken civilians and a few ninja, all wielding assorted weapons. Tears of fear and sadness rolled down the face of the child as his situation became more desperate. The angry horde was getting closer to him with each turn he took. Years of neglect and a diet of low-quality food had left the boy weak, proving to be a huge disadvantage as he was finally cornered in an alleyway. With nowhere else to go but up, the boy started climbing until a kunai found its way into his back, sending him plummeting down onto the trash-covered ground with a loud thud. "Why are you doing this to me?" asked the boy as he managed to slowly get back up onto his feet. The boy visibly flinched as he pulled the kunai out of his back, splattering hot red blood onto the ground. This had happened every year for the young ever since he could remember. Every year on his birthday, October 10th, the villagers would gang up on him and beat him. Most of the time they would only beat him until he lost consciousness, but sometimes they would hurt him enough to send him to the hospital for a few days. He didn't know what he did to deserve this. All they did was beat him, and when they didn't, they just ignored him. He felt so lonely, he just wanted to be acknowledged. Why did everyone hate him? "Demon. You dare defile my ears with your words. I'll kill you," cried one of the shinobi as he threw a set of shuriken towards the young boy. The shuriken embedded themselves into the boy's body, sending a loud piercing scream to echo off of the walls. The child slumped down to his knees, feeling life leave his frail body as his blood ran down his shirt and onto the ground. Mustering all of his strength, he asked one last desperate question. "What did I do to deserve this? You disgraced the memory of our beloved Yondaime Hokage. Do you want to know what happened? The Yondaime never killed the Kyuubi. No. He sealed the demon inside of you. You're the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. Now die like the demon you are," shouted one of the civilians, eliciting sadistic cheers of approval from the mob despite the law saying those who revealed such information were to be put to death. The boy's eyes widened considerably as his mind shattered. They had known all this time. That was why they hated him. He wanted to scream, but before he was even able to open his mouth, someone sent a kunai right into his throat, sending him slumping to the ground with a thud. His vision blurred as the last thing he saw was the red Uzumaki swirl on the back of a Chunin vest. The last thing he heard was the crowd's cheer of approval. Then everything went black. As the crowd dispersed out of the alleyway, grins on their faces at the prospect that the demon was finally dead, an old man burst through and immediately fell to his knees as he saw the body of the boy. The blood seeped into his pristine white robes, but he didn't care as he clutched the boy to his chest. "Naruto, what have they done?" he said solemnly, tears starting to flow down his cheeks as he looked into the heavens above. "Minato, if only you could see what Konoha has become." Naruto's mindscape. Drip, drip, drip. Naruto wandered aimlessly through the tunnels of what appeared to be the sewers. He didn't know where he was, all he was capable of doing right now was commanding his feet to move. Strangely enough, he felt like an invisible force was guiding him through the seemingly abandoned maze. "Did they dump me in the sewers?" thought Naruto as he continued dragging his tired body through the thick filthy water. He continued walking for what he perceived as several minutes until he found himself in front of a large metal cage with a paper seal in the middle. He no longer felt the invisible force guiding him as he stood in front of the intimidating metal bars. "Hello?" he called out. His voice seemed to echo off the round walls, bouncing off every surface until his voice faded away. "Ah, it seems my container has finally come to visit me," boomed a voice, filling the entire chamber with strong vibrations. Naruto barely flinched. "Who's there?" he asked as he squinted his eyes to see where the voice was coming from within the darkness inside the cage. "Kyuubi no Yoko, at your service," boomed the voice once more, starting in a very deep and masculine voice that slowly turned slightly more feminine with each syllable. The Kyuubi silhouette appeared shortly after. As it got closer to the metal bars, it revealed its magnificent size to Naruto. The fierce features of the Kyuubi barely fazed Naruto. What surprised the Kyuubi the most was that Naruto had actually walked forward instead of cower away. Naruto's eyes widened slightly as it studied the Kyuubi before dimming in defeat. "So it's true then. I am a demon," sighed Naruto as his once full of life cerulean eyes glazed over and turned cold and dead. The Kyuubi's ears drooped slightly as it stared at the boy before him. Shortly after, Naruto looked back up at the Kyuubi and met his stare without hesitation. "It appears that my container is brave. Good. I can't have myself a cowardly container," it said as it dipped its head so that it could get a better look at Naruto. "But you are wrong. It seems you do not know the difference between a scroll and a kunai," it said, confusing Naruto. What do you mean? Does a scroll become a kunai if a kunai is sealed inside of it? Of course not. Just as you are not a demon for having a demon sealed inside of you. You are simply the scroll while I am the kunai, explained the Kyuubi, getting an understanding nod from Naruto. So, where am I? Asked Naruto. This is your mindscape, Kit. You have absolute control in here because it is your mind, answered the Kyuubi, getting another understanding nod from Naruto. Give it a try, Kit. Think of anything and it will appear inside your mind. Naruto gave it a prompt nod before he closed his eyes. The damp sewers that once was slowly faded away and gave way to a beautiful meadow. The meadow had vibrant flowers scattered around and a soft hill with a tall apple tree for shade. The sky was set in a beautiful sunset, the same sunset Naruto watched every day on top of the Hokage monument. The cage that once held the Kyuubi was turned into a thin white collar with a tag that said seal. It seems my container also has a beautiful imagination, it said as it gazed longingly at the gorgeous scene created by its container. So, I've noticed that your voice has gotten a bit more girly. Are you a girl? Asked Naruto. It seems that you are also clever, very good. And yes, I am indeed a woman, she answered as she slowly morphed into a beautiful woman. She had long, rich red hair with elegant fox ears sticking out on the top of her head. She happened to be completely nude when she finished transforming, without a single strand of hair on her body except on her head. She had flawless milky skin that most women would kill for. She had large 86D cup beeps, each adorned with a pretty pink nipple. She had a very shapely body, with a thin waist, a very toned stomach and beautiful, delicious thighs. Between her perfect thighs was a neat patch of trimmed red hair, above her pink slit. She was like a goddess, with a body so beautiful that it would drive men to murder if she ordered them to. Wow, said Naruto, eliciting a cute giggle from the Kyuubi. So, tell me Kit. What is your goal in life? Asked the Kyuubi. Naruto was taken aback by that question. If anyone had asked him that question on any other day, he would have proudly exclaimed his goal to become the Hokage. He didn't feel like the villagers deserved his protection anymore, not after how they had treated him. After a few seconds of deep though, he replied. My goal in life is to make sure that no one else has to go through what I've been through. Jinchuriki or not. No matter what. He replied passionately. Good answer, Kit, she said as she suddenly placed a soft hand under Naruto's chin. She slowly raised his chin so that he was looking up at her, and then she proceeded to plant a gentle kiss on his forehead, sending slight shivers down his spine. What was that for? Asked Naruto with a blush as he felt Kyuubi's soft lips leave his forehead. Just a small reward for all that you have endured, she replied warmly. Oh okay, he said, the touch of the Kyuubi's lips still lingering on his forehead. I've decided to make you my mate, she said suddenly with a smile. Wait. What? You heard me, I'm going to make you my mate and it won't do to have myself a weak mate, so I'll be making a few changes to your body, she replied with a foxy grin. What kind of changes? Asked Naruto. I'll be using my Yauki to do some tweaks to your genetics. By the time you wake up, you'll be stronger and faster. I will also be granting you a few Kekkei Genkai. I'll unlock one for you every once in a while, since I do not want to overload your body, she explained elegantly. Naruto quickly nodded. Now, the first Kekkei Genkai I will be adding to you will be the Akuma Fukusui. It allows you to read emotions, see into people's minds and manipulate them, she began, but you have to be careful because once you use it, you can't reverse the effects of it. Alright, he replied in understanding. It's weird that I'm going to be your future mate without even knowing your name, said Naruto, earning him a smile from the Kyuubi. You may call me Yoko, she replied with a flip of her silky crimson hair. Her lips curved into a grin. Now go. Spread terror in the name of Kyuubi no Yoko. Make them fear me as they have before. Become my champion and I will help you achieve all of your dreams. She said proudly as she posed with her arm extended and her finger pointed towards the distance. With that said, Naruto could feel his mindscape fading, a bright light seemed to dominate his vision as he woke up. Konoha Hospital. The occasional beep of the heart monitor was there to fill the silence that was Naruto's hospital room. Naruto woke slowly. His eyes opened groggily as he slowly raised himself, only to be stopped by the sharp pain that went through his body. He decided to lay back down. His movements didn't go unnoticed though as the Hokage quickly made his way to his bed. The old man gave him a sad smile. Naruto-kun, how do you feel? Asked Sarutobi. Like someone who was just used for target practice, replied Naruto in a very empty tone that worried the old man. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. If only I had no. No, it's alright, interrupted Naruto, there's no need to apologize. How long was I out? Asked Naruto. A little more than a day, replied Sarutobi, do you need anything? I'll be fine, Jai-san, said Naruto, giving Sarutobi his best winning smile. Alright, Naruto-kun. If you ever need me, you will know where to find me, said Sarutobi as he gave Naruto one last sad smile before standing up and leaving the room. The moment Sarutobi left the room, Naruto's smile immediately fell, revealing his void eyes and his frown. He turned his head to his right so that he could gaze through the window into the village. Someday, I'm going to show you all exactly how it feels to be me, I'm going to burn this place to the ground, he thought as he mustered all his hatred into his eyes to glare at the villagers below. I'm going to make sure no one else has to go through what I've been through. Don't worry kid, I'll be here to help you, said Yoko in her melodious voice. How are you talking to me? Asked Naruto. Well, when you were sleeping, I found a way to slip myself through the seal, and that is how I am communicating with you, she replied. Oh, alright. So when do we begin my training? Asked Naruto. As soon as we can. First let me tell you the changes I've made to your body, responded Yoko in her explaining voice. Naruto nodded. First, I have given you the Akuma Fukusui. To activate it, all you need to do is channel Yaki into your eyes and look directly into someone's eyes. To give orders, you have to just think of the orders you want to give them, explained Yoko. What if their eyes are closed? Asked Naruto. You can always just channel Yaki into your hand and touch them on the forehead, replied Yoko, to which Naruto nodded once again. Now. During your sleep, I've made your body stronger. You see, I've made it so that when you exercise, you'll gain twice the benefits. For example, if you exercised for 10 hours, you would be gaining 20 hours of muscle, and don't worry. I've made it so that you won't be too bulky, so you'll be lean and flexible, continued Yoko with a smile on her face. Now before we start training, we have seriously got to do something about your outfit, instructed Yoko. Alright. No resisting. Good. Henge yourself and let's head to the market district. With a nod, Naruto immediately pulled out tubes, henged himself as a young, brown-haired, generic boy before opening the window and jumping out. Market district. Being henged as a different person really changed the way people looked at him. It was like a weight was being lifted off Naruto's shoulders, if only briefly, as the villagers all smiled at him as he made his way to the shinobi clothing store. When he entered the store, he was welcomed instead of kicked out. This only made his hatred for the villagers grow more. Hey mister. Mind explaining all the stuff you got here? Asked Naruto in the most childish voice he could muster. Sure. What do you need? Replied the man with vigor reserved only to the villagers. Well, I need some new clothes, said Naruto as he looked up in thought. Come with me, said the man as he gestured towards the clothing section. Naruto followed the man as he explained all the different materials and what they were good for. Some were woven with Kevlar, protecting against grazing blows, and some had steel plates attached to them for extra protection. There was camouflage clothing for almost every environment, even a pink one for hiding in sakura trees. I'd like to have these, said Naruto as he picked out a subdued black trench coat, a thin light gray vest, a dark gray shirt and gray camouflage pants. I would also like to buy multiple sets of these, except for the coat and vest. Sure, young man, said the shopkeeper as he ringed up the prices of all the clothing on his register. That'll be 50,000 yen, please. No problem, said Naruto as he pulled the money out of Gama-chan. Please come again, young man, said the shopkeeper as he waved off Naruto. I will, replied Naruto out of habit as he walked out of the store, holding the bag of the items he had purchased. Naruto had to stifle a chuckle as he walked out the store. What child carried around 50,000 yen? Idiots, he thought as he looked up into the sky. It's getting late. Let's head home so I can start your training tomorrow, said Yoko. With a quick nod in affirmation, Naruto immediately dropped his henge and disappeared into the night. He dashed over the buildings until he reached his rundown apartment. He just simply slid through the hole in his window and quickly went to his bed. A quiet groan escaped Naruto's lips as the morning sun blasted through his window, stabbing his eyes. Being the hyperactive person he is, he quickly got out of bed, did a few stretches, ate his breakfast ramen and headed to his bathroom. Following his usual routine, he brushed his teeth and turned on the shower. Taking off his clothes, he immediately noticed something was different. Yoko-chan, when you said that you made some changes. Did you mean this? Asked Naruto as he looked at his new manhood which appeared to have grown several inches. Well, any maid of mine has sure to have the right tools to please me in the bedroom, was Yoko's uncharacteristically shy reply. Okay then, said Naruto as he stepped into the shower, a pleasurable shudder ran through him as the hot water soothed his new muscles. Well, you see if you are to be my mate, it's demon law for you to have a harem. So I have increased your fex drive, your stamina, the amount of seminal fluid you produce, and I have tweaked your instincts a bit, said Yoko quickly. I see, was Naruto's reply. I'm going to start your training today, right after the academy, started Yoko in an attempt to change the subject, so prepare yourself because by the time I'm done with you, you'll know why I was known as the cruel queen. I'm not that worried, was Naruto's reply as he began lathering his hair with a citrus-scented shampoo. So what is your plan to destroying Konoha? Asked Yoko, because right now, you've got the strength of, well, a 12-year-old. I plan on increasing in strength and gaining some allies, replied Naruto. I also plan on doing something about the damned civilian council. Well, I'll be here if you ever need my help, said Yoko, not like I can go anywhere else. I appreciate all you've done, Yoko-chan, said Naruto, making Yoko blush. Not that she would tell him that. Well, thanks, was Yoko's reply. I feel like today is going to be a good day, thought Naruto as he got out of the shower. He quickly dried off and put on his new outfit, taking a moment to check himself out in the mirror as he put on his trench coat. It seemed that Yoko had increased his height considerably and increased the definition of his muscles. The different shades of gray provided good contrast to his tan skin and his blonde hair. Every piece of clothing fit him perfectly. How do I look? Good enough to be my mate, was Yoko's reply, to which Naruto nodded. Looking one last time at his room, he quickly ran out the door, to the academy. Academy grounds. Alright, everyone please sit down, said Iruka. Everyone quickly sat down in their respective seats, though it took quite a while as Sakura and Ino were having a slap fight over who got to sit with their precious Sasuke-kun. Sasuke-kun is mine. Get out of the way, Ino pig, yelled Sakura. Shut up. Sasuke-kun is mine, shouted Ino. Why me, why me, why me, groaned Iruka quietly as he began regretting his choice to become an academy teacher. You'll survive, was Mizuki's response to Iruka, to which Iruka just nodded before taking in a deep breath. You too. Sit down, shouted Iruka towards the two Sasuke fangirls, his head growing slightly bigger with each syllable. The two girls could only nod before sitting on the two other seats besides the one next to Sasuke. Okay. Good, said Iruka, now for attendance. Aburami Shino, generic student, more generic students, started Iruka until he got to Uzumaki Naruto. There was no response. Uzumaki Naruto, he said a little louder. After a few seconds he looked up from his list and saw the last remaining empty seat, right next to Sasuke. Bessie skipped Aga, started Iruka only to be interrupted as the door to the academy was kicked open. In came Naruto. Everyone was a little shocked, some of the girls even gasped. They were all taken aback by Naruto's new look. He was not wearing his ridiculous kill me orange jumpsuit. His new clothing seemed to give him a new aura of seriousness. The blonde gave a quick glare to all the other students before taking the last seat next to the last Uchiha. Sorry for being late, Iruka-sensei, said Naruto, ignoring all the stares he got. Oh okay, next generic person, said Iruka, recovering quickly and stifling his surprise. Oh, you'll never amount to anything, even with that new outfit, whispered Sasuke with a smirk to Naruto, to which Naruto just rolled his eyes. Ignore him, kid, said Yoko. Don't worry, his words mean nothing to me. Iruka soon began his lesson on the Third Great Shinobi War. He began on how the Yondaime Hokage had won the war after defeating Iwa's army, and that's how he got the moniker of the Yellow Flash. The class took a little more than an hour, and truth be told, Naruto was on the verge of falling asleep by the end of it. Class ended when Mizuki took everyone outside for Taijutsu practice. Everyone was always excited for Taijutsu practice, so they quickly arrived at the dojo used by the academy. Everyone gathered around the ring except for Naruto, who just leaned by himself against the wall. Iruka saw this and quickly went over to him. What's wrong, Naruto-kun? Asked Iruka. Nothing's wrong, I'm fine, said Naruto with a smile on his face. Alright, Naruto-kun. If you ever need anything, you come and find me, replied Iruka before he was called away by Mizuki to supervise the other kids. When I burn this place to the ground, I'm going to spare you, said Naruto as he looked at Iruka. I like him, kid, started Yoko, who else are you going to spare? Aim-chan and Tuchi-san. They were always nice too. Hey dope. Come here and fight me, said one annoying Uchiha, to which Naruto just rolled his eyes. Naruto sighed as he made his way into the ring where Sasuke was waiting. The air around them seemed to get a little cold as they watched the opposites of the class glare each other down. The top student versus the dead last. To everyone that was there, Naruto seemed cool and collected, but that was not the case on the inside. What do I do, Yoko-chan? Asked Naruto, a little worried. You'll do fine, just let your enhanced instincts take over, was Yoko's lazy reply, to which Naruto nodded. So, Naruto trusted his instincts, and he immediately went into a taijutsu stance no one had ever seen before. So the dobe learned a new taijutsu style. You're still no match for an elite like me, said Sasuke as he pointed a finger to himself to accentuate what he said. Then the match began. Sasuke quickly dashed forward to land a kick to Naruto's chest, but he was clumsily dodged as Naruto turned to the side. At first, Naruto found that he was barely after to dodge Sasuke's expert strikes, but he soon got used to his stance and began dodging each of Sasuke's attacks nimbly. Sasuke gritted his teeth in frustration as he found himself unable to land a single hit. Most of the fangirls still cheered him on though. "Come on and hit me, coward," shouted Sasuke as he lunged forward to deliver a punch. His mistake, as soon as he said those words, he found a fist in his stomach as Naruto glided around his own fist to deliver the blow. He coughed loudly, sending spittle onto the floor. Time seemed to freeze for a moment until Naruto landed another hit, this time the side of his face with his leg, sending him sprawling on the ground. He didn't get up. "How does that feel?" said Naruto with a smirk. "Good job, kid," congratulated Yoko, "you showed that self-righteous Uchiha who's boss." "Thank you, Yoko-chan." Naruto took a moment to glance at the people around him. Everyone was shocked. They just watched Naruto, the dead last, demolish Sasuke, the prodigy. The fangirls had their mouths gaped open in shock, and all the boys had their eyes wide with surprise. Even the instructors were surprised. Naruto had to stifle a chuckle as he saw the face Mizuki had. He quickly retook his place by the wall. More matches went on but Naruto didn't care to watch. He was just confused about how he had learned a taijutsu style with no prior training. "Yoko-chan. How did I win that fight?" asked Naruto. "I did tell you I had tweaked your instincts. I have basically implanted all my knowledge on the taijutsu style, Kashikoi Fakisu Sateru, and my vast knowledge of jutsu into your mind," was Yoko's response. "Alright," said Naruto, "but I want a warning next time." "No promises," said Yoko slyly. The sound of someone hitting the floor filled the dojo, forcing Naruto out of deep thought. The final match was done. Finally, he was getting bored. "Alright. That's enough for taijutsu. Class is over," shouted Iruka, who was nearly ran over when all the kids flooded out of the small dojo. "Let's start your training, kid. Let's head to the training grounds," instructed Yoko, to which Naruto nodded before walking out of the dojo. Training grounds. Birds chirped melodiously in the sky as Naruto made his way through the training grounds. The fresh air was a welcome change compared to the sweat-infused smell the dojo had. "So, where do I train?" he asked. "Find somewhere that provides good cover while having enough space to perform powerful ninjutsu," instructed Yoko, as Naruto continued wandering around. "Like here?" asked Naruto as he stood in front of a fenced-off forest. The trees were huge, towering over all the other trees he had ever seen. The trees provided nice shade, but it also gave an ominous vibe as they covered the ground in shadow. Naruto could swear he saw multiple eyes watching him within the darkness. "Training ground 44, read Yoko, I like it." "Alright," replied Naruto as he jumped over the fence and made his way into the shadows of the forest. Naruto couldn't hide the smile on his face as he gracefully dashed through the forest on top of thick branches. This was going to be the place where he trained and the thought excited him. He could already imagine the level of power he would achieve in the coming days. His thought process was broken as he immediately came to a sudden stop. "What's that noise?" "It sounds like someone is crying," was Yoko's reply, "let's go check it out." "Alright," said Naruto with a solemn look on his face. The sound of crying was painfully familiar to him. Memories of being beaten and starved by the orphanage flooded his mind. He could feel his eyes shut tight and his heart beat fast inside of his chest. The memories were overwhelming as he nearly lost his footing on the branches. "Focus, Naruto-kun," said Yoko in an attempt to calm him down, to which Naruto nodded with grit teeth. Naruto increased his pace until he reached a small clearing in the middle of the forest, the source of the crying. Under one of the trees sat a woman. She had her knees hugged close to her chest, and each time she sobbed, she would convulse. Her weeping caused another flood of memories to fill his head. Memories of crying in the corner of the orphanage as the mistress hid him away from all the other children, so he couldn't be adopted. Closing the doors on those memories, he redirected his focus to the lady crying under the tree. From what he could see, she had eggplant-colored hair that was styled into a spiky ponytail. She was wearing a tan overcoat, a mesh shirt and surprisingly, a dark orange miniskirt. That was all he could see from his spot on top of a tree branch, and he wanted to see more. "Oh, comfort her already," said Yoko. Alright," replied Naruto as he jumped off his branch and onto the ground. The moment he landed on the ground, he had to dodge a kunai that ended up grazing him, leaving a thin red line on his cheek. "Who are you? What the funk are you doing here?" she yelled questioningly, her tone brash and filled with killer intent despite the tears that continued to flow down her face. "I was just wondering why you are crying, lady," said Naruto as he quickly raised both his hands in a pacifying manner. Before he could even blink, he was pinned to a tree with a kunai at his throat. The woman took a moment to sniff loudly before she started talking. "I don't know why the funk you're doing here, but I am Mitarashi Anko, Konoha's snake mistress, and I do not funking cry," she yelled, sending all the small critters around her fleeing for cover. Naruto just glared at her. With their faces so close together, Naruto couldn't help but take in her features. She had a really cute nose and a really nice round face. What surprised him was that when he looked into her eyes, he saw the same sorrow and pain that they held. Her eyes are just like mine, he thought solemnly. They are, was Yoko's quiet response. It's the Kyuubi brat, thought Anko as she felt her forced anger fading. Naruto could see that Anko was thinking the same thing as she looked down, and her features softened up. Her forced grimace had to turn to a crestfallen shame as a single tear rolled down her cheek. Taking a moment to sniffle, she brought the kunai down to her side and looked back up at Naruto's face. Look, kid. I am sorry, she murmured quietly, trying to hold back the second wave of tears. Her eyes widened considerably as she felt Naruto's hand reach out to gently caress her cheek. As much as she wanted to slap Naruto across the face for touching her, her body couldn't help but react to the slightest act of affection. Anko opened her mouth to speak, but was hushed as Naruto placed her thumb on her lip. Don't worry, Anko-chan, started Naruto, you're not alone anymore. Anko's cheeks turned a light shade of pink at the chan suffix that Naruto added to her name. It was like a heavy weight had been lifted from her shoulders. Just knowing that there was someone else who had suffered through what she had was extraordinary to her. She could feel her heart pound in her chest as she listened to Naruto's soft comforting words. Do you mind telling me why you were crying? Asked Naruto, earning him a slow nod from Anko. I got tired of all the names they call me, she started, it gets to you after a while, you know. Yes, Anko-chan. I know, replied Naruto with a warm smile. Hey, you know, you never introduced yourself, said Anko quietly as her cheeks once again flushed red. Uzumaki Naruto, at your service, my lady, replied Naruto as his eyes flashed red for less than a second, too fast for Anko to notice, causing her blush to darken. He's only 12, but he speaks like a man with decades more experience, thought Anko, I like it. Naruto-kun. I'm not usually like this, began Anko, so don't tell anyone about it, alright. My lips are sealed, replied Naruto sincerely. But since I am acting this way, started Anko shyly, do you mind if you. If I what? Diss me, murmured Anko as her cheeks turned a light shade of pink. Go for it. Cheered Yoko from behind her cage as she watched the scene in front of her like a Korean TV drama. Lemon scene happened. You're amazing, Naruto-kun, she puffed out with a very satisfied smile on her face. You too, Anko-chan, replied Naruto as he rolled over to his side to plant soft kisses on her cheek and neck. Anko took a moment to glance down, and what she saw shocked her. He was still hard. How are you still hard, Naruto-kun? She asked breathlessly. It's because you're so beautiful, Anko-chan, replied Naruto, causing Anko's cheeks to glow red. Or me, murmured Yoko quietly. Hey, Naruto-kun. Do you want to get something to eat? Began Anko, all that vex has made me hungry. Sure, Anko-chan. A few moments later. After Anko had recovered enough to put on her clothes, they made their way out of the forest. They both had a great time racing each other back to Konoha, and Anko was genuinely surprised that Naruto could keep up with her, even passing her at times. The kid was still in the academy for Kami's sake. Unbeknownst to her, during their tiny journey back, Naruto was having a conversation all by himself. That was quite a show you put on, kid, flirted Yoko with a sultry smirk on her face. I'm glad you enjoyed, Yoko-chan, replied Naruto with vigor. So do you like the Kekkei Genkai I gave you? Asked Yoko. It's really useful, replied Naruto. You know, you can always increase the intensity on it, began Yoko, the more Yaki you channel into your eye, the stronger your control over one's mind. When you used it on Anko over there, you simply sent her a subtle thought that fueled her desire. I don't think I am willing to use it on Anko, started Naruto, she does not deserve to be controlled. She deserves to be with me of her own free will. I'll just occasionally send in some of my thoughts so that she remains loyal, said Naruto, to which Yoko nodded in understanding. Could you pick up the pace? I'm hungry, said Yoko after a moment of silence, to which Naruto nodded. Anko's eyes widened considerably as she saw Naruto's speed pick up to a high chunin level, making her pick up her own pace to catch up. At their speed, they quickly made their way out of the training grounds and into Konoha's commercial district. Konoha's commercial district. So which restaurant are we going to, Anko-chan? Asked Naruto as he followed the excited Anko. You'll see, she replied, before she jumped down to land in front of a rather shanty-looking bar. Naruto couldn't help but quirk an eyebrow. What? Began Anko, it has the best dango in town. Well, alright, was Naruto's response. As they entered the bar, Naruto took a moment to look at the plate that held the restaurant's name. Sorry, thought Naruto to himself. Sounds fancy, replied Yoko. The moment they both stepped foot inside the restaurant, a drunk villager holding a quarter-full bottle of beer seemed to stumble out of nowhere. He looked at them for a few seconds before breaking out into a cruel laugh. It looks like the snake whore found herself the demon brat. He howled loudly, not like anyone else would. He was rudely interrupted as he felt the hatred-filled gaze that came from Naruto. He could swear he saw his eyes turn red before he lost control of his arms. He ended up smashing his bottle of booze over his head, embedding shards of dark glass into his scalp. His response was immediate and he began screaming pain before running out of the bar, screaming nonsense about demons and mind control. No one took notice to his drunk babbling. TCH. Serves him right, said Naruto with a sneer. How did you do that, Naruto-kun? Asked Anko. Let's find a seat first, Anko-chan, started Naruto. I don't want anyone else to hear this. Alright, Naruto-kun. I trust you, replied Anko. They were quickly seated as most of the waiters were too scared of what had happened earlier to disrespect the demon. The waiters were quick and prompt, afraid of being near Naruto too much in case what had happened earlier to their patron would happen to themselves. Within record time, Anko found herself seated, order taken and plate of dango placed in front of her. So, Naruto-kun. Do you mind telling me now? Asked Anko as she took in an entire dumpling in one bite. Be honest, kid, began Yoko, she deserves the truth. I'm going to tell you something important, started Naruto, you cannot tell this to anyone else unless I say so. Alright, replied Anko suspiciously. You know that I'm the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, right? Asked Naruto. Shit, he knows. Thought Anko as she nodded in response. Well, she has taken a liking to me and has decided to give me a Kekkei Genkai, said Naruto. Wait, the Kyuubi is a woman? Asked Anko, to which Naruto nodded. So, what kind of Kekkei Genkai? She calls it the Akuma Fukusui. It allows me to read emotions, enter people's mindscapes and manipulate them, answered Naruto. Suddenly he felt the killer intent around him thicken. Did you happen to use your Kekkei Genkai on me? Asked Anko coldly as she held her empty stick of dango threateningly. Yes, began Naruto, but I had a good reason. Start talking, said Anko in her intense interrogation tone as she pointed the dumpling stick at Naruto. You look so sad and when I looked into your eyes I knew we are the same, started Naruto, so I thought I could fill that void that we both had. Anko couldn't stop herself as she dropped her dumpling skewer back onto the plate. She glanced up at Naruto for a second before slowly nodding. She shuddered as she felt Naruto caress her cheek, and once more, she felt the warm feeling that she had earlier when he had done this simple affectionate act. She found herself unable to disagree with his reasoning. He had already grown on her too much in the short time they knew each other. I love you, Anko-chan, stated Naruto as he leaned forward to place a chaste kiss on her lips. I love you too, Naruto-kun, she said quietly. Anko-chan, there's something I need to ask you, said Naruto as he took Anko's hand with his own. What is it, Naruto-kun? She asked. Do you like Konoha? Asked Naruto, please be honest. No. Everyone sees me as Orochimaru's whore besides a few close friends, replied Anko. Why are you asking me this? Because I plan on destroying Konoha, stated Naruto, earning him a small gasp from Anko. So, you want me to join you? Asked Anko quietly. Yes, replied Naruto. Alright, I'll join you, was Anko's sudden reply, surprising Naruto. This village has treated people like us wrong for long enough, so I'd jump at the chance to get some payback, began Anko. I just want you to spare a few people. Who do you want me to spare? Asked Naruto. If they're shinobi, I can recruit them to our cause. Kurenai Yuhi, Yugao Yuzuki, and Hana Inuyasaka, replied Anko before eating the last piece of dango. Anything for you, Anko-chan, began Naruto, you are one of my precious people after all. Thanks, Naruto-kun, replied Anko as her cheeks glowed a light pink. They spent the next few moments getting to know each other. Naruto learned of her involvement in Konoha's torture and interrogation division, and she learned about Naruto's relationship to the Hokage. Before they knew it, the restaurant was closing. Naruto quickly volunteered to pay for the bill before they headed out. Let me walk you home, Anko-chan, said Naruto as he took Anko's hand. Sure, Naruto-kun, replied Anko as she led him to her home in the residential district. Right outside Anko's apartment. Somewhere in the residential district. Well, good night Anko-chan, said Naruto as they stood in front of Anko's apartment complex. Good night, Naruto-kun. I had a great time today, she replied. But that said, Naruto turned around to begin his walk home. He was stopped when he felt Anko's hand on her shoulder. What is it, Anko-chan? Asked Naruto. Do you mind if you stay with me tonight? Asked Anko. It gets cold here at night and my bed is big enough for two. You make me so proud. Not even 18 and you're already being invited into a girl's house, Yoko said sarcastically. No problem, Anko-chan, replied Naruto as he leaned forward to plant a light kiss on Anko's cheek, no problem. Anko and Naruto were sleeping peacefully in Anko's queen-sized bed. A simple pleasure that Anko's apartment had was that she had blinds on her windows that blocked the sunlight from ruining the couple's beauty sleep. Naruto was dressed in only his boxers, while Anko went au natural. Anko had both her arms and legs wrapped around Naruto, her soft beeps pressing into his back. To Naruto, it was the perfect way to wake up. Except, that was not how they woke up. Instead, their peaceful slumber wasn't interrupted when they both heard a loud knock at the door. Anko nearly crushed Naruto as she tried burying her face into his neck to escape the noise. Groaning loudly, Naruto, being the only clothed individual, inched out of his girlfriend's insane grip and walked towards the door. Who the hell would visit someone this early in the morning? Grumbled Yoko as she too was woken up from her sleep. I don't know, replied Naruto as he wrapped his hand around the doorknob, let's find out. Make sure you kill them in the name of the Kyuubi, yawned Yoko, to which Naruto sighed. Naruto quickly opened the door to find that an Anbu courier waiting patiently outside. Naruto gave him a nod in greeting. What is it? Asked Naruto as he rubbed his eyes to get rid of the rheum that had accumulated overnight. Lord Hokage demands your presence. Put on some clothes and come with me, the Anbu courier replied, to which Naruto sighed. Wonder what Jai-san wants now, asked Naruto. Must have to do something with you mating with someone twice your age, replied Yoko sarcastically, to which Naruto shook his head. Not one to disappoint his grandfather, Naruto quickly walked back to Anko and gave her a goodbye kiss on the forehead before putting on the clothes he had on the last day. He gave the Anbu a nod before they departed. Hokage's office. Hokage-sama, I have brought Naruto, said the courier as Naruto stood behind him. Sarutobi nodded before sending the Anbu away. He had a warm smile for Naruto. So, Naruto-kun. How have you been? Asked Sarutobi as he leaned forward and rested his elbows on the desk. I'm doing rather well. How about you? Replied Naruto, to which Sarutobi just sighed as he looked at the tall stacks of paperwork beside him. I've seen better days, said Sarutobi as he took another glance at the huge mountain of legal documents. When he returned his gaze to Naruto, his face turned from casual to serious. Naruto-kun, do you know why I have called you here? Asked Sarutobi, to which Naruto shook his head, no. Well, Naruto-kun. I have called you here because I heard about your Taijutsu match yesterday, he said. Naruto couldn't say that he was surprised. It's not every day that the supposed dead last took down the prodigy. News spreads fast around a ninja village, so it was bound to reach the Hokage. Naruto had to hold back a growl as he heard the Hokage tell him that most of the villagers thought he had cheated by poisoning the Uchiha beforehand or using hidden ninjutsu. I didn't cheat, Jai-san, started Naruto, I beat him fair and square. I just want to know where you got the skills to beat the student of the year, replied Sarutobi. I have just recently took my training up a notch, said Naruto, his eyes glowing faintly red for a moment before dissipating back to his bright blue eyes. Not that Sarutobi noticed. Okay, Naruto-kun. There is one more thing I have to say, replied Sarutobi. What is it? Asked Naruto with a quirked eyebrow. Now I know you're a little young to be doing certain things, started Sarutobi awkwardly, but just be careful next time. What do you mean? Wondered Naruto. What I mean is that I know you've been doing things that only adults should be doing, said Sarutobi slowly, trying to keep his composure. Huh? Asked Naruto innocently. Fex. I am talking about Fex. Said Sarutobi as he succumbed to just saying it bluntly. Is that all? Replied Naruto as he quirked an eyebrow, shocking Sarutobi. I just need to know if you're taking the proper precautions, said Sarutobi, like the contraceptive no jutsu. Naruto shook his head, no. Just start using it from now on. You are too young to hold the responsibility of a father, sighed Sarutobi, to which Naruto nodded. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. I am glad that you found someone, started Sarutobi, even if they are twice your age. So, is that all? Asked Naruto. Yes, Naruto-kun. That is all. Take care, replied Sarutobi, to which Naruto nodded. See ya, Jai-san, said Naruto. But that said, Naruto quickly stepped out of the office and walked down the long stairs to the exit. Once he was outside, he took a deep breath, taking in the crisp cold morning air. Don't you even dare use that contraceptive jutsu, started Yoko, any woman should be lucky to receive your seed. Plus, I want lots of babies, quickly added Yoko with a blush. Having kids would be nice, was Naruto's reply before he dashed off quickly so that he could grab a quick shower at Anko's apartment. Academy grounds. Naruto sat quietly on the tree swing as he waited out the last few minutes before class. Taking a quick shower at Anko's apartment took longer than he thought it would. A lot longer. The moment he had opened the door, he was immediately dragged back to the bedroom by Anko, who nearly smothered him with her chest. It took a lot of bickering, plus some apology kisses before she let him go. He mentally laughed at the face Anko made when she admitted defeat to their kissing fight. He would never forget her pout. You really like that Anko girl, huh? Suddenly asked Yoko. Are you jealous? Replied Naruto. No, was Yoko's response, as long as you put my first, I won't be jealous. Don't worry, Yoko-chan. You'll always be my queen, said Naruto, to which Yoko blushed madly. Not that she would ever tell him. She still had pride after all. Good, replied Yoko. I don't even know why the academy has a fourth year, started Yoko. You learn all the essentials in the first 3 years and then you learn about useless history in the fourth. It's the only way for me to get placed into a team, was Naruto's response. When you're bored, I'm bored. Hopefully the final exams come quickly, sighed Yoko. Soon after Yoko finished her sentence, the first bell rang, notifying all the students that they were to find their classroom. The moment he walked into class, everyone set their eyes on him. Most of them were either jealous or disgusted, but Naruto could make out a few looks of respect in the crowd. He took a glance at Sasuke, who was in his usual seat. Sasuke had a rather large bruise on his cheek that seemed to have been poorly concealed by makeup. Never seen a man wear makeup before, quirked Naruto. I'm not sure that Uchiha is a man, was Yoko's response. Serves him right for looking down at me, snickered Naruto. When the time comes, I want that Uchiha's suffering to last the longest, said Yoko sadistically. Why do you hate the Uchiha? Asked Naruto. I'll tell you when you get older, was Yoko's reply, to which Naruto just nodded. Naruto's focus returned to Iruka at the front. Good morning, class. Began Iruka, today is the day of your final exam. Called it. Cheered Yoko, to which Naruto just rolled his eyes. You know what I don't understand? Started Yoko, why would they send in genin that know only 3 basic jutsu? I do not know, Yoko-chan, was Naruto's reply. I doubt that 30% of the people in here will survive the first 2 years as ninja, scoffed Yoko, to which Naruto couldn't help but grin sadistically. Alright. We will begin the exam, said Iruka as he got his clipboard. Can I please get Uzumaki Naruto to the front? Shit, I have terrible chakra control, said Naruto. Trust your instincts, was Yoko's reply, you have 10 lifetimes worth of jutsu at your disposal. Naruto-kun, please do the Bushin no Jutsu, said Iruka, to which Naruto nodded. Taking a deep breath, Naruto quickly molded his hands into the proper hand seals. Ram, snake, and tiger. Hage Bushin no Jutsu, said Naruto as 20 Naruto clones filled up a classroom, shocking everybody. Oh my kami, gasped Iruka as he nearly dropped his clipboard to the floor. Most of the other students had their mouth open in shock as they had just witnessed the supposed dead last create more clones than anyone else had before during an exam. Iruka couldn't help but get curious. Naruto-kun, how did you just perform a B-rank jutsu? Asked Iruka, shocking everyone further, prompting Sasuke to scoff loudly. Not that anyone noticed, of course. I have terrible chakra control, so I asked Jai-san to teach me a solid clone technique that required more chakra, was Naruto's creative reply. It seemed to satisfy Iruka as he nodded. Next, the Kawarimi no Jutsu, said Iruka, to which Naruto nodded. Proceeding with the appropriate hand seals. Tiger, boar, ox, dog, snake. Naruto quickly spoke up. Kawarimi no Jutsu, said Naruto as he quickly substituted with Hinata. The poor girl nearly fainted when she realized what happened. Naruto then substituted back, taking note how red Hinata's face was. She has a crush on you, if you didn't notice, said Yoko. Really? Asked Naruto. Really? You should start using my Kekkei Genkai more often to detect emotions, replied Yoko, to which Naruto mentally nodded. Okay, next, the Henge no Jutsu, said Iruka. Running through the correct hand seals. Dog, boar, ram. Naruto quickly activated the jutsu. Henge no Jutsu, said Naruto as he transformed into an older version of himself. Iruka could swear he was looking at the Yondaime Hokage with whisker marks before he disappeared with a poof, revealing the same old Naruto in his gray clothing. You pass, Naruto-kun, said Iruka as he gave Naruto a proud smile, to which Naruto returned the smile, before walking back to his seat. I still don't understand why they send children to the slaughterhouse with these basic techniques, scoffed Yoko. Must be the low standards that come with this pitiful village, replied Naruto. It'll make it easier when you destroy this place, said Yoko as her lips stretched into a sadistic grin. I bet it will, my queen, replied Naruto as he himself smiled. The rest of the tests went on just as quickly yet less impressively. Everyone received their headbands and almost everyone was happy. Naruto couldn't say that he was happy, wearing the symbol of the village that he despised. Still, this was a requirement in his plan, so he begrudgingly wrapped the forehead protector around his head and walked out to get something to eat. At the Uchiha compound. A loud angry battle cry erupted from the compound as the last Uchiha demolished a training dummy with a devastating kick. He hopped back to marvel at his strength before clenching his jaw in anger. Not good enough, thought Sasuke as he felt his anger rise. Ever since he was defeated by Naruto, he had stepped up his training. From the moment class ended he would rush to his compound and train, only taking a small break to eat a quick dinner. Even as he moved on the next training dummy, he could hear Naruto's voice, taunting him. You can't beat me, Sasuke, laughed Naruto in his mind. Shut up, dope. I'm an elite, Sasuke thought as he clenched his fist to deliver a blow to the training dummy. You're weak. I am not weak. The Uchiha are worthless. We are not worthless. If you can't beat me, how can you beat Itachi? Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. You lack hatred, said the new voice in his head. Shut up. Sasuke cried mentally as he snapped the last training dummy in half before collapsing onto the ground. I'll show you dope, I'll show everyone that I'm the strongest, swore Sasuke with an exhausted smirk as he lay on the ground, his mind already formulating a plan. Konoha's commercial district. It was a little late for lunch, but that didn't matter to Naruto. He was finally out of that boring academy, it was a cause for celebration. A bowler 12 of Ichiraku's delicious ramen was sure to hit the spot. He could already imagine how tasty their miso broth was and how chewy their noodles were. He could feel himself salivate. Yet, his beautiful thoughts of ramen were interrupted as he had to violently swerve to the side to dodge a kunai. What the hell was that? Mentally shouted Naruto. Watch out! Yelled Yoko as Naruto dodged another kunai. Who are you? Asked Naruto, show yourself. From an alleyway came a shadowy figure with a duck butt haircut. Naruto didn't even need to see his face or hear his voice to know who he is. Those two kunai he had to dodge earlier really got his heart pumping. He could feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins. Dope, said Sasuke with an elitist smirk on his face. Sasuke, why the hell did you do that? Asked Naruto as he readied himself in his unique taijutsu stance. Give me that jutsu, dope, demanded Sasuke, only the elite like me deserve to use such a strong jutsu. Naruto adopted a comical thinking stance before giving Sasuke a foxy grin, nah. Sasuke literally fumed. How dare this lowlife nobody speak to him this way. He was in a Uchiha. Hide me, dope, started Sasuke, prove to everyone that I am better than you. But that said, Sasuke quickly pulled out a kunai and dashed forward. He swung his kunai skillfully for a genin, but he was easily dodged by the instinct-driven Naruto. With each strike that he missed, Sasuke found himself getting angrier. He grit his teeth as he put all his strength into a lunge in the hopes of impaling Naruto on his kunai. Die! Screamed Sasuke as his kunai dug deep into Naruto. He smirked in superiority as he saw Naruto's pained expression. Sasuke's victory ended prematurely as what he thought was Naruto exploded into a cloud of gas, clouding his vision. The next thing he knew, he was axe-kicked into the ground. The blow came without warning as it smashed into the back of his head, sending him face first into the dirt. When the dust cleared, Naruto could be seen standing beside the fallen Sasuke. Sweet kick, Kit. Cheered Yoko as she reveled in her hate for Uchihas. Why should I fight you? Started Naruto, there's no point to this. Naruto had to dodge once more as Sasuke launched a kick up into his face. Sasuke quickly grabbed the kunai on the ground before curving his body so that he could stab the side of Naruto. Naruto barely moved as he easily grabbed Sasuke's wrist and held it up into his back, forcing him to drop the kunai. Had enough. Said Naruto with an annoyed expression on his face, to which Sasuke just scoffed. Sasuke wasn't done as he quickly headbutted Naruto, allowing him to slip through his hold. Sasuke then immediately launched a spinning kick that slammed into Naruto, throwing him into the wall. Naruto would have hit the wall if he didn't immediately explode into a cloud of smoke. That jutsu should be mine. Thought Sasuke angrily as he kept alert in case Naruto struck again. It seemed he wasn't alert enough as he was suddenly side-kicked in the stomach, sending him sprawling onto the ground. He balled his fist and hit the ground in anger as he heard Naruto walk up to him. You do realize what you've done, don't you? Asked Naruto as he crossed his arms. Why don't you tell me, dope? Sneered Sasuke. You just attacked a fellow leaf shinobi, replied Naruto. Ha! Like it'll matter. The council would never listen to a clan-less loser like you, smirked Sasuke. People like you never learn, sighed Naruto, before quickly dashing forward and delivering a devastating kick into the side of Sasuke's head, knocking him out. What an idiot, said Yoko. Naruto couldn't help but agree. For a supposed genius, he sure isn't bright, replied Naruto, before dusting his clothes off and making his way to Ichiraku's ramen restaurant. Ichiraku's ramen restaurant. Naruto had continued his brisk walk through the commercial district as he found himself in front of Ichiraku's ramen restaurant. He didn't even need to see where he was going as muscle memory had directed him to it. He could feel himself salivate as the wonderfully nostalgic scent of ramen wafted into his nose. Luckily for him, there was no one else eating in the restaurant, so he had the entire place to himself. Hey, Naruto-kun. Said AM cheerfully as Naruto took his seat, new look. Hi, AM-chan, and yes, replied Naruto as he placed his elbows onto the wooden counter. Where's Tuchi-san? Asked Naruto. Well, Tu-san has been under the weather lately, so I was left with the task of manning the restaurant by myself today, replied AM, to which Naruto nodded in understanding. I'll be closing the restaurant early today so that I can take care of him, she quickly added. "So what can I get for you?" she asked. "As many bowls of miso ramen as you can make," he replied with a foxy grin. "You know, Kit. Thanks to you, I have a ramen addiction," sighed Yoko. "Well, that means we can both enjoy this meal," was Naruto's reply. "The reason you were so short before was because you never had the correct nutrients," said Yoko. "At least promise me that you'll start eating things other than ramen." "Oh, alright," sighed Naruto, before focusing on AM. Naruto watched as AM turned raw ingredients into his meal. Large stalks of green onion were diced with an expert's hand, along with bamboo shoots and thick slices of char siu pork. This was a very familiar scene to Naruto, but he couldn't help but feel something was a bit different. He found that his gaze fell on her backside a lot more than usual, and that he would notice whenever her beeps would jiggle every time she turned sharply to check on the cooking ingredients. Before he knew it, his pants suddenly felt a lot tighter. "He's looking at me," thought AM as she bit her lip. "Here you go, Naruto-kun," said AM with a blush as she placed the first bowl of ramen in front of him. "I think she caught you staring," started Yoko, "and I think she likes the attention." "All these urges are a bit overwhelming," was Naruto's reply. "I think you have a crush on her," teased Yoko. "She's always treated me nice, she has a place in my heart," replied Naruto as he said a quick-eyed Akamasu before chowing down. "I think that she also has a crush on you," said Yoko. "Really?" asked Naruto. "Yes," replied Yoko. "Why do you think that?" asked Naruto. "Just look at her," started Yoko. "Every time she catches you looking at her, her cheeks get red and she bites her lip. If she didn't like you, she would slap you and call you a pervert." "Oh, I always thought she treated everyone like this." "For the future destroyer of Konoha, you can get a bit dense," teased Yoko, earning her a short sigh from Naruto. "Compliment her." "You look really pretty today, AM-chan," complimented Naruto, earning him a cute blush from AM. "Thanks, Naruto-kun," replied AM, her blush intensifying as she realized she had stuttered. "If you play this right," began Yoko, "you may add another woman to your harem." "AM-chan is not just another woman," was Naruto's reply, "she's important to me. She'll join out of her own volition." "AM-chan, have I ever told you how beautiful you are?" said Naruto with a foxy grin, causing AM's face to go red. "Thanks," she replied bashfully. "Why am I getting flustered? He's 5 years younger than me. It's just a compliment." More bowls of ramen were eaten, and between bites, Naruto would casually drop compliments on AM. He would compliment her personality, her skills and her body until he had whittled down her resistance. AM could feel her heart warm at his words, it made her feel special. Naruto's late lunch had turned into dinner as he had ate a total of 23 bowls of ramen. Gama-chan felt very empty. The sun was setting and it was getting dark outside. It seemed words had a very strong effect on AM because Naruto could smell hints of arousal rolling off of her in small waves. "Delicious always, AM-chan," complimented Naruto. "Thanks," she replied. Taking a moment to turn on his Kekkei Genkai, he took a glance at AM's emotions. He wasn't that surprised to learn that she was lonely. AM was a girl who spent most of her time in a restaurant and taking care of her father when she should have been hanging out with her friends. He decided that she needed a break. "Hey, AM-chan," started Naruto slowly, "are you lonely?" "No," stuttered AM, "why do you ask?" "Be honest with me, AM," replied Naruto, to which AM nodded. "Yes. I don't get much time for myself when I have so many responsibilities," said AM as she took untied her bandana. "Why don't you take a short break? We can talk for a while," said Naruto. "Alright, I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I was a little bit late," she replied after a moment of thought. AM promptly walked out the back of the restaurant to sit on the stool next to Naruto. From the close distance that each stool had between each other, she could make out the subtle scent that was Naruto. It was very pleasant and she just wanted to bury her nose in it, but she controlled herself. "How was your day, AM-chan?" asked Naruto. "It was tiring, but I'm glad that you came by," replied AM, earning her a grin from Naruto. "I should come here every day then," said Naruto warmly. "It's fine, Naruto-kun," was AM's response. "You know you're special to me, right?" asked Naruto sincerely, earning him a small blush from the sweet ramen cook. "He doesn't mean it that way. He's 5 years younger than me," she repeated in her head before responding with a nod. "But what if he does mean it that way? It wouldn't hurt to ask." "Hey, Naruto-kun. What am I to you?" she asked. Naruto had to think for a moment before responding. "AM-chan. You are one of my most precious people. You were the girl in the beginning that helped me out when everyone else shunned me. If I didn't have you, my world would be shattered. I love you, AM-chan," replied Naruto sincerely, to which AM immediately brightened up. "I've fallen for a 12-year-old. This it. I'm going to be a molester," thought AM with a blush. "That's what I needed to hear," she said quietly before leaning forward to plant her lips on Naruto's. The next thing that happened was not something she expected. Lemon scene happened. I love you, Ayam-chan, cooed Naruto as he softly embraced Ayam, planting a soft kiss on her forehead. I love you too, Naruto-kun, she replied sincerely as she returned the embrace. As the couple held on to each other, Ayam took a moment to glance at Naruto's manhood. She was surprised to see that he was still as hard as a rock. How was that possible? With her mind clouded by the orgasms Naruto had just given her, the only answer she could come up was younger people, thought Ayam as she promptly dozed off in her lover's arms. Enko's apartment. With Ayam knocked out by his sexual prowess, Naruto had clumsily readdressed her before quickly carrying her back to Anko's apartment. One of the good things about Anko's apartment was it was quite large due to the large paychecks Anko would receive as a jounin. The bed itself was quite large, so he gently placed Ayam on top of it before covering her with the sheets. I am so proud, began Yoko, only your second time, and you've already made someone black out from pleasure. I'm glad she enjoyed it, replied Naruto. You've now got 2 women in your harem, began Yoko, a step closer to me. How am I going to explain to Anko-chan? Don't worry. Judging from Anko's personality. The more the merrier, replied Yoko, I can't wait until I can have you all to myself. It might take a while. I am only going to make love to women that I love, and only if they are willing to have me, replied Naruto as he took a seat around the dinner table. You're a real gentleman, said Yoko, you know that. Yes I do, replied Naruto with a smile. I think it's time I gave you a new Kekkei Genkai, said Yoko, I've already gotten the perfect idea of one, I just need some time to tweak your genetics. Alright, replied Naruto, I look forward to it. It was only a few moments after he had placed the sleeping Ayam on the bed before he heard the door open and close. In walked Anko, her coat slung over her shoulder as she walked in with an empty stick of dango between lips. Naruto smiled warmly at her as she walked in. Hey, Naruto-kun, greeted Anko as she leaned forward to kiss Naruto's cheek. Hey, Anko-chan, replied Naruto as he leaned forward to kiss Anko's cheek. Who's the girl on my bed? Asked Anko as she took a glance at the sleeping brunette. One of my precious people, was Naruto's response. You know, Naruto-kun. If you were anyone else, I would have castrated you, said Anko jokingly, sending a shiver down Naruto's spine. But since it's you, I'm willing to share, she began, plus it'd be interesting having a third person. Or a fourth, she quickly added. Anko gave Naruto a lustful smirk before she leaned forward to give Naruto a deep kiss. Her kiss was returned with equal fervor. Anko pulled back for some air before pushing him off the chair. He landed on his back and Anko was on top of him in an instant. She gave him a playful lick on the lips before leaning forward to whisper naughtily into his ear. Lemon scene happened. That was a nice way to wake up, said Naruto as he grinned foxily to the both of them. Just our way of encouraging our stud before he gets his jounin instructor, replied Anko with a smile, to which Ayam nodded in agreement. Academy classroom. Naruto felt amazing as he walked into the classroom. Waking up to a beep, having a hot shower and eating a delicious ramen breakfast does that to a man. While he did feel amazing, his face did not show it. His face remained stoic as he opened the door to the classroom. He stood by the doorway to scan the room. There was Sakura and Ino fighting over Sasuke. There was Hinata blushing at his appearance. Some of Sasuke's old fangirls were also blushing, which made Naruto mentally hiss at them. There was also Sasuke, brooding in his seat. Okay, I'm awake. What did I miss, yawned Yoko. A very pleasurable morning, replied Naruto as he took his eat. How long do you think we're going to have to wait here? Asked Yoko. I don't know, was Naruto's response. So why did you wake up so late? Asked Naruto. I spent almost the entire night working over your genetics. I'll introduce you to your new Kekkei Genkai later, replied Yoko, earning her a mental nod from Naruto. After all the kids had settled, Haruka walked in through the door with a clipboard. It appeared Haruka had been through a rough fight as both his legs and arms had bandages on them, and there was also a bandage around his forehead. Wonder what happened to him? Wondered Naruto. No idea, was Yoko's lazy response. Alright everyone. Congratulations on passing the exam. I will now be telling you, your teams, said Haruka as he looked over his clipboard. Hey, Haruka-sensei. Why are you injured? Asked Naruto. Well, Naruto-kun. The life of a ninja is a rough one, and one of your own could turn on you at any time. As you may have noticed, Mizuki-sensei is no longer here. Mizuki was a traitor to the village, and I was the one who killed him, began Haruka, so may that be a lesson to all of you. Naruto was satisfied with the answer, so he nodded at understanding at Haruka. Okay. Team 1. Generic student, said Haruka as he looked up at all the students he just called up. After list teams 1 through 6, he went on to team 7. Team 7 will be Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha, said Haruka. The reactions were almost instant. Naruto scoffed quietly to himself at the idea of having to be in a team with that narcissistic elitist. Sakura cheered loudly as she was on the same team as her precious Sasuke-kun. Sasuke had a very subtle but obvious reaction. His left eye twitched madly as he grit his teeth in anger. This did not go unnoticed. The rest of the teams were quickly called out. Iruka instructed to all the students that they were to wait here for their Jounin squad leader. Most of the Jounin came by quickly and took their respective teams. An hour had soon passed, and the only ones left in the classroom were Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke. "Wonder why my Jounin instructor is so late," sighed Naruto. "Make sure to beat his ass when you see him," said the very annoyed Yoko. "Got it," replied Naruto. A few more minutes passed quietly as no one else spoke up. Naruto simply didn't care to start a conversation, Sasuke continued to brood, and Sakura was too scared to talk. Suddenly the sliding door opened, revealing a tall Jounin in a mask, with white hair. The Jounin had on the respective Konoha Jounin attire. Green vest and black sweater with black pants. The first thing that the white-haired Jounin said was, "Meet me up on the roof," before he disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Sasuke and Sakura immediately got up and went to the roof, anxious to meet their new squad leader. Naruto just remained calmly at his desk. Just before Sasuke walked out of the classroom, he stopped to glare at Naruto. "Oh, he told us to meet us on the roof," sneered Sasuke. Without saying a word, Naruto simply disappeared in a swirl of red chakra, shocking the Uchiha. Sasuke's reaction was to grit his teeth angrily. "That jutsu should be mine," fumed Sasuke before running out to catch up with Sakura. Rooftop. When Sakura and Sasuke made it onto the roof, they saw Naruto sitting quietly on the ground whilst their Jounin instructor leaned against the railing. Sasuke scoffed as he took his seat by Naruto, followed by Sakura. Their Jounin instructor took a moment to size them up before he spoke. "Let's see," started Kakashi, "first off, let me have you guys introduce yourselves." "Introduce ourselves?" asked Sakura, "what should we say?" "Your likes, dislikes, your future dreams, hobbies, things like that," was Kakashi's response. "Before that, can you please tell us about yourself?" asked Naruto calmly and politely. "Me? My name's Hot Aki Kakashi," replied Kakashi. "I don't feel like telling you guys about my likes or dislikes," continued Kakashi, earning a sound of surprise from Sakura. "I've never really thought about my future dream," said Kakashi. "As for my hobbies, I have many." "In the end, isn't all we know is his name?" whispered Sakura with an irritated look. She was ignored by both of her team members. "Next is you guys," said Kakashi loudly, regaining Sakura's attention. "Let's start off with you," said Kakashi as he pointed at Naruto. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like ramen. What I dislike are the ignorant villagers. My hobby is training. My future dream is something I have never thought about," said Naruto in a monotone voice, obviously apathetic towards his new instructor. "What happened to the cheerful Naruto that I knew of back when I was his Anbu guard?" thought Kakashi before he continued. "Okay, next," he said. "I'm Haruno Sakura. What who I like is," giggled Sakura as she took a sideways glance at Sasuke. "What a fangirl," thought Naruto with a mental scoff. "Agreed," was Yoko's reply. "My hobby is," said Sakura before blushing as she took another glance at Sasuke, "my future dream is. .. She let out a high-pitched squeal as her face turned red. Kakashi's visible eye twitched at her, obviously annoyed but holding it together rather well. "And? What are your dislikes?" asked Kakashi blankly, hoping to get the pink-haired Kunoichi over with. "Naruto," said Sakura, her giggly fangirl demeanor turning a 180. Naruto barely reacted, obviously unfazed that someone didn't like him. He just remained nonchalant and kept his focus on Kakashi. No one knew, but on the inside, he was having a nice conversation to escape the boredom that was his current reality. "That Sakura is such a fangirl bitch," scoffed Yoko in annoyance, "promise me you'll break her." "I'd do it just to get rid of her shrieking banshee voice," sighed Naruto. "Maybe I'll force her to never be able to talk again, except for with sign language." "Would be nice to have her serving you," was Yoko's response, to which Naruto could not disagree. "Yeah, would be." "And lastly," said Kakashi, motioning towards Sasuke. "My name," said Sasuke, pausing for effect, "Uchiha Sasuke. I have lots of dislikes, but no likes in particular," continued on Sasuke, his hands folded in front of his face. "And? I don't feel like summing up my ambition as just a dream, but I do have an ambition. The ambition to restore my clan and without fail, kill a certain man," said Sasuke, earning a blush from Sasuke and a scoff from Naruto. "What a hard ass," said Naruto. "What's with all the drama?" said Yoko, "he needs to get a life." "Agreed." "Good," said Kakashi, "the three of you are very distinctive and interesting." "We'll have a mission tomorrow," continued Kakashi. "What kind of mission?" asked Sakura curiously. "A survival exercise," said Kakashi after a dramatic pause. "Why are we doing a survival exercise?" asked Sakura. "We've had more than our share of exercises at the academy." "Please just shut up," thought Naruto quietly, praying to Kami. "This is no simple exercise," replied Kakashi. "Then what kind of exercise is it?" asked Sakura, her annoyance showing greatly. Kakashi immediately broke out into a long chuckle, slightly scaring Sakura, even phasing Sasuke lightly, but Naruto remained stoic. "What's so funny, sensei?" asked Sakura in an agitated voice. "Well, if I tell you, I know you'll get discouraged," replied Kakashi enthusiastically. "Of the 27 graduates, only 9 will be recognized as junior ninjas. The remaining 18 will be sent back to the academy. In other words, this exercise is an extremely difficult test with a failure rate of 66% or higher." Kakashi took a moment to take in their facial expressions. Sakura immediately grew disenchanted. Sasuke scoffed, and Naruto remained as stoic as ever. See, said Kakashi, "you got discouraged. Then what was the graduation test for?" shouted Sakura. "Oh, that," replied Kakashi, "it was just to select those who have the potential of becoming genin." "Well, that's the way it is. I'll be determining whether you pass or fail," continued Kakashi. "Bring your complete set of ninja tools. We meet at 5 in the morning." "Okay, you're dismissed," said Kakashi dismissively as he waved a backwards goodbye to his team. "Oh, and you'd better skip breakfast," added Kakashi. "Why?" asked Sakura. "Because you'll throw up," was Kakashi's scary reply. But that said, Kakashi quickly shunted off to wherever he went, leaving the 3 genin behind. Sasuke immediately stood up and began walking away, but not before he could whisper something into Naruto's ear. "You'll get what's coming to you for what you did to me yesterday," began Sasuke quietly. "Konoha is no place for a dope like you." Naruto barely reacted except disappearing in a red swirl of chakra, much to Sasuke's annoyance. Sasuke began walking away, grumbling about how he was going to show the dope once and for all, leaving a very confused Sakura behind. Commercial district. Being the gentleman that he is, Naruto decided that it would be romantic of him to purchase some flowers for his lovely ladies. He immediately arrived in the middle of the commercial district via his Akuma Fukusu Shunshin. Naruto took a moment to take in his surroundings and was surprised to see that the Yamanaka flower shop was right behind him. Lucky day. "So, you're getting flowers for your woman?" asked Yoko. "Yes, I am. I'll also here to pay a visit to a certain Yamanaka," replied Naruto. "Was it that blonde fangirl we saw yesterday?" asked Yoko. "Yes, but hopefully by the end of today, she won't be a fangirl anymore," replied Naruto with a grin. The bell on the door to the Yamanaka flower shop jingled cheerfully as Naruto walked into the store. The smell of multiple varieties of flowers immediately hit his nose. With his enhanced sense of smell, he almost choked. "Welcome to the Yamanaka flower shop," started Ino cheerfully, only to trail off when she saw who had entered. "Oh, it's you, Naruto. I was just looking for some flowers to give to my girlfriends," said Naruto calmly, ignoring Ino's lack of enthusiasm at his sudden appearance. "Girlfriends?" asked Ino, "who would go out with you?" "None of your business," started Naruto. "I would like to see your selection of flowers, please." "Whatever, follow me," sighed Ino as she got up from her stool. "So here we have our amaryllis, our anemone, some azaleas," started Ino, her passion for flowers coming forth with each new flower mentioned. "Here we have our bluebells, some camellias, and daisies. We got more in the back if you are interested," added Ino. "Do you even know what any of those flowers mean?" asked Yoko. "I think there was a flower arrangement course in the academy," replied Naruto. "Oh, yes. Flower arrangement. You can arrange some flowers on your own grave after you've been killed by an enemy ninja who actually learned useful stuff," was Yoko's sarcastic reply. "Ino, may I please have a bouquet of anemones, azaleas, and daisies, and another bouquet of red poppies, cacti and freesias?" asked Naruto, having no idea what the flowers looked like, but knowing what they symbolized. "Really? Well. I'll arrange them for you," said Ino as she went to pick out the specific flowers. Naruto promptly followed Ino as they went into the back of the store. One of the flowers he had asked for were placed in a pot on the bottom shelf. Naruto got a perfect glimpse of her underwear peeking out of her short skirt as she bent down. "She's got a tight ass," whistled Yoko. "She'd make a nice addition to your harem." "Yes, she will," replied Naruto. Naruto could see that Ino had a huge passion for flowers. He could just make out the gleam in her eye as she took the best flowers out of the bunch for his bouquet. When she wasn't acting like a Sasuke fangirl, she had a really nice personality. Ino had just picked out a cute-looking cactus pod when she got back up to see that Naruto was holding a beautiful-looking dahlia. "Naruto, what is that for?" asked Ino curiously. "It's for you, Ino-chan," said Naruto romantically, his eyes flashing red for a brief second. "Really?" said Ino shyly as her cheeks turned on a cute shade of pink. Yes, replied Naruto, before leaning forward, trapping Ino against the wall with his hand. Naruto could feel Ino's hot breath close to his face, as the close contact to the opposite sex awakened her sexual instincts. Up close, Naruto could make out her pretty girl features. She had silky, light blonde hair and beautiful blue eyes. Naruto could tell that when she got older, she was going to be a real bombshell. You know, Ino-chan, began Naruto sultrily, you've got beautiful eyes. Stop saying stupid stuff like that, Naruto baka, replied Ino shyly as she looked down at the ground to avoid his gaze. Naruto reacted by placing a soft hand on her chin and tilting her head up. Ino felt like she could just drown inside of Naruto's ocean blue eyes. They went so deep that Ino felt like if she couldn't look away, she would be lost forever inside of them. Her breath hitched as Naruto leaned his face forward so that their noses were barely touching. No, said Naruto with a soft grin, I'll say whatever I like, Ino-chan. But that said, Naruto placed a chaste kiss on Ino's lips to test her reaction. Upon seeing her flushed cheeks, he leaned in for another. Ino couldn't help herself as she moaned quietly into the second kiss. Naruto's manly scent was intoxicating to her and she just couldn't get enough of it. I can taste her cherry-flavored lip gloss, thought Naruto as he pushed forward to deepen the kiss. When Ino got a hold of her senses, she immediately retaliated by wrapping her arms around Naruto's neck and kissing back with vigor. There was no way she'd lose at kissing against the dead last. What a feisty girl. I like her, said Yoko lustfully, to which Naruto mentally nodded. At long last, they pulled back. The need for oxygen greatly outweighed the need to continue their intense makeout session. Naruto gasped lightly whilst Ino took a while to regain her breath. That was some kiss, panted Ino, earning her a foxy grin from Naruto. There's more where that came from, replied Naruto as she leaned forward to lay some soft kisses on the side of Ino's neck. Quiet moans escaped Ino's lips as the sensation of Naruto's lips on her neck sent fire into her core, exciting her more than ever. Not even fantasies of Sasuke made her this hot. Before long, she found that Naruto had replaced Sasuke within her mind. Naruto-kun, cooed Ino as she pushed Naruto's head down so that he was eye level with her beeps, kiss here too, please. Gladly, replied Naruto as he used his hands to lift up her dark purple tube top, revealing a set of pale 78 beeps, held in by a simple black, strapless bra. You're even more beautiful than I imagined, Ino-chan, said Naruto lustfully as he unhooked her bra, letting it fall to the ground. Don't say stuff like that, said Ino, her face red with embarrassment. Looking up to give Ino one last foxy grin, Naruto immediately began massaging her beeps softly with his hands. They were quite perky and soft. A dreamy moan escaped Ino's lips when Naruto engulfed one of her nipples into his mouth. Ah. Naruto-kun thought Ino lustfully as she ran her hands through Naruto's surprisingly soft wild hair. She arched her back slightly as she felt Naruto give her nipple a small nip. Once he felt that he had provided enough pleasure for one beep, he switched to the other nipple. The way he expertly swirled his tongue around her pink nub was like having heaven poured onto her chest. It feels so good. Squealed Ino as she pressed Naruto's face into her chest. The sensations proved too much for her virgin body as she felt herself convulse in pleasure. She would have slid onto the floor if she wasn't held up by Naruto. She could feel her drenched panties stick to every curve between her thighs. Her beeps heaved slightly as sweat dripped down the side of her face. The quiet moan escaped from her as she felt Naruto's hot mouth leave her nipple, exposing it to the cold air. How did you get so good at this? Panted Ino, her voice dripping with sexual satisfaction. Practice, was Naruto's simple answer before he lifted Ino up. With great strength, Naruto gently positioned Ino so that her tight butt was directly on top of him, whilst her face was on his large member. Naruto smiled as she saw how drenched her panties were underneath her dark purple skirt. Ino herself was wide-eyed as she saw the massive tent in Naruto's pants. Go on, Ino-chan, began Naruto, it won't bite. Sorry, I've just never thought you would be that big, replied Ino, as she gingerly undid the zipper on Naruto's pants. A sharp gasp escaped Ino's lips as her pink slit was exposed to the air. Taking a moment to collect herself, she pulled off Naruto's boxers. Naruto's hard beat nearly slapped her face as it was released from its confines. It's huge. She thought as she tried to wrap her fingers around the thick base, earning her a quiet groan from Naruto. On Naruto's side, things were a lot less shy. Naruto quickly positioned his face underneath Ino's honey pot and gave a soft whiff. It smells just like flowers, thought Naruto in surprise, earning him a quiet snicker from Yoko. Itadakimasu, said Naruto jokingly before giving Ino's slit a long lick, earning him a shudder from Ino. Not one to be outdone, Ino focused her attention on the hot length in front of her. The smell was intoxicating. Just how many woman's fluids had it absorbed to get such a distinct smell? Taking inspiration from what Naruto was doing to her, she gave it a long lick from base to tip. Her reaction was instant, she was instantly hooked. That was amazing, sighed Ino happily as she rested her head on Naruto's shoulder. You were amazing, replied Naruto as he ran his hand gently through her silky hair. Ino-chan. I gotta go now, started Naruto with a grin, but you can count on me visiting you a lot more often now. I look forward to next time, replied Ino quietly. I think we should get dressed, said Naruto, to which Ino nodded. But that said, the two lovers separated themselves from each other and proceeded to redress themselves. Ino found it a bit difficult putting back on her dirty panties, but she did so nonetheless. Naruto was just about to put some money into the register for the flowers before he was stopped by Ino. Naruto-kun, Ino began, the flowers are on me this time. Lemon scene happened. Thanks, Ino-chan, said Naruto happily as he left with his 2 bouquets of beautiful flowers. With Naruto gone, her day went back to normal, but at least now she had something better to fantasize to during her time spent at the flower shop. She couldn't wait to see what Naruto had in store for her the next time he came to visit. I think I'm in love, thought Ino before her thought process was broken by the sound of the door opening. The Forest of Death. The forest was one of Naruto's favorite places, the other being Ichiraku's ramen. The smells and sounds of the forest were so peaceful to Naruto. The only places in Konoha left untouched by the disgusting hands of the villagers. He could just fall asleep, listening to the sounds of all the animals, but it was way too early to sleep. So what was that Kekkei Genkai you wanted to show me? Asked Naruto as he stood in the clearing where had first met Anko. I call it the Akumafaki Tsukiroku, replied Yoko proudly. It's simple. You simply channel Yaki in any part of your body. If you hit an opponent with a Yaki-covered part of your body, the reaction is instantaneous. The Yaki immediately begins destroying the person's chakra system, but the damage varies depending on how much Yaki you use. Use a little bit and you will close someone's tenketsu similar to the Hyuga's gentle fist, and if you use a lot, your opponents will die a most excruciating death as your Yaki burns through their entire chakra pathway, was Yoko's very long explanation, to which Naruto nodded. Seems like a very versatile Kekkei Genkai, but does it have any defensive use? Asked Naruto. Yes, it does. You see, only the strongest of ninjutsu would be able to break through the cloak, rendering you invulnerable to most weapons, unless they land in a place you do not have a cloak around, was Yoko's reply. Following Yoko's instructions, Naruto immediately began channeling Yaki into his hands. A red cloak of demon chakra immediately formed around his hand, making it seem that translucent claws were growing from Naruto's fingers. Naruto found it fascinating. I doubt you'll be able to test it out now, but make sure to use it when you're going against an enemy shinobi, said Yoko. Now, we will begin your training. Let's start by doing 500 push-ups, followed by 500 crunches, 500 squats and a 50-kilometer run, instructed Yoko, to which Naruto hesitantly nodded. Don't worry, I'll be here to cheer you on, kid, added Yoko with a grin, motivating Naruto. But that said, Naruto quickly got down into a push-up position and began pumping out perfect push-ups. A few hours later. It was just about evening time when Naruto had finished his last kilometer. Even with his enhanced body, he was almost on his last legs as sweat rolled down his body. He had his trench coat wrapped around his waist. His vest and shirt were drenched in sweat as he decided to take a short break at the bottom of a tree. It wasn't long before he dozed off. A few moments later, a purple-haired Kunoichi happened to walk by, taking notice of his sleeping form. Anko grinned softly at the sight of her sweaty Naruto, taking a nap against a tree. He looked so comfortable that she just couldn't stop herself as she made her way next to him and sat down, resting her head against his shoulder. She breathed in, savoring his manly scent. It was like a drug to her. It wasn't long before she dozed off as well. Early morning was the best way to describe the time. The sun was barely out as Sakura and Sasuke made their way onto training field 7. Sakura looked disheveled. Her hair was uncombed and she had large bags under her eyes. Sasuke was doing a bit better, with only subtle bags under his eyes. They both waited for Naruto and Kakashi. They waited. They waited more. They waited so much that Sakura was able to break out a comb and comb through her hair. They had waited for 4 hours until Naruto showed up. Where the hell were you, dope? Scoffed Sasuke, who was sitting on his bag. Enjoying a night's worth of sleep and having some delicious breakfast ramen, replied Naruto nonchalantly. Kakashi-sensei told us to meet at 5. Said Sakura loudly. Well, Kakashi-sensei is not here, so no harm done, was Naruto's response. Naruto took his place by his team and sat down on his bag. The team continued to wait and after about 10 minutes, Kakashi finally appeared. Naruto could see Sakura's left eye twitch in anger. Kakashi looked apologetic. Hi, folks. Good morning. Said Kakashi enthusiastically. You're late. Shouted Sakura accusingly as she pointed a finger. It was this old lady, you see. I had to help her cross the road, was Kakashi's reply. I don't see how it took you that long. Screamed Sakura, and what old lady wakes up at 5 in the morning? Sakura grumbled loudly. Oh well, said Kakashi as he planted a clock onto a nearby stump. Okay, the clock is set for 12 o'clock. The day's assignment is to take these bells away from me by noon, added Kakashi as he held out 2 silver bells. So that's his goal, said Yoko. 2 bells but 3 students. He's trying to separate us, replied Naruto, to which Yoko nodded. You're gonna have to use teamwork to win, kid. Even if you can easily take those bells from him, added Yoko. Those who can't get a bell don't get lunch, began Kakashi, they'll also be tied to that. Kakashi gestured to the stump that the clock was placed on, earning him a quiet gasp from Sakura. Naruto took note of the blush that Sakura had on. I'll also be eating my lunch before your very eyes, added Kakashi, earning him a groan from both Sakura and Sasuke. So that's why he told you to not eat breakfast, said Yoko. How cruel, said Naruto. Yes, how cruel indeed, said Yoko dreamily. But hold on. Why are there only 2 bells? Asked Sakura in confusion, earning her an eye smile from Kakashi. There are only 2 bells because the person that doesn't get one will be disqualified for failing the mission, began Kakashi, and will return to the academy. It might be one person at the very least, or it could be all 3 of you, added Kakashi. You can use shuriken. You won't be able to take the bells unless you come with the intent to kill me, said Kakashi, his tone changing at the mention of the word kill. But that's dangerous, sensei. Said Sakura, earning her a scoff from Sasuke. In this world, those who aren't skilled enough tend to complain more, said Kakashi sternly, earning him a nod from Sakura. Begin when I give the ready go signal, said Kakashi, to which Naruto gave him a foxy grin. But that said, Naruto quickly dashed forward, kunai in hand, and went to strike Kakashi. At the speed he was going, he was easily caught by Kakashi, and before he knew it, he was held by the wrist with his kunai to the back of his head. Sakura and Sasuke watched on in amazement. Don't be so hasty, warned Kakashi, but it's okay since you came at me with the intent to kill. Kakashi's eyes soon filled with surprise as Naruto exploded into a cloud of smoke, removing his line of sight of his surroundings. Sasuke quickly used that advantage and dashed away to hide. Sakura followed suit. Observing from a distance was Naruto, silently snickering at the expression his instructor had. This might get serious, thought Kakashi as he reached for his prized Icha novel, but until then, reading won't hurt. Pacing around the field, Kakashi was easily able to pick out Sakura with her bubblegum pink hair. Sasuke was slightly more challenging, but he was easily able to see the reflection from his hit eye 8. Try as he might, he was barely able to pick out Naruto. Strange. For someone who had the chakra reserves of 10 jounin, he had suppressed it remarkably well. Kakashi smiled to himself. That pervert. How dare he read such filth? Said Yoko angrily. What book is that? Thought Naruto as he squinted to make out the words Icha. Paradise. The unholy book. The bane of all good women, replied Yoko, to which Naruto could only nod in confusion. Suddenly, a flurry of shuriken and kunai flew at Kakashi from Sasuke's position. The weapons struck true and soon impaled themselves into Kakashi's body. Kakashi flew to the side as the force of the weapons knocked him off his feet. Time seemed to slow as Kakashi's body struck the ground only to disappear in a puff of smoke, replaced by a wooden log. Well. I expected that, thought Naruto, to which Yoko nodded. A piercing scream echoed throughout the forest. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the sound and turned his head to it. With his enhanced vision he was easily able to pick out Sakura. She was standing blankly in the middle of the forest. Suddenly, another piercing scream echoed throughout the forest, followed by a quiet thud. Kakashi-sensei must have hit her with Genjutsu, thought Naruto with a sigh. Close by, Naruto could see Sasuke and Kakashi. Kakashi had his back against a tree, reading his pervert book, while Sasuke looked rather dramatic, with his back turned to Kakashi. They seemed to be having a nice conversation until Sasuke launched a volley of shuriken towards Kakashi, who dodged them nimbly. Sasuke threw another shuriken, this time aimed at a hidden rope, sending another volley of shuriken towards Kakashi. As Kakashi dodged, he was attacked by Sasuke, who attempted to land a kick against his face, which was deftly blocked. Sasuke quickly followed up with a punch followed up by another kick. In their position, Sasuke reached for the bells only for Kakashi to launch him away at the last second. Where was that skill from back when I beat him? Thought Naruto. He must have stepped up his training, was Yoko's reply. Well, time to tend to Sakura, said Naruto as he jumped off the branch he was hiding on. Where Sakura is? I don't know. Sakura woke up with an unladylike groan. She immediately jumped up, alert from seeing her precious Sasuke-kun injured. Not too long afterwards, she soon realized that Naruto was standing beside her. Finally up and about? Asked Naruto calmly, with his arms folded. Sasuke-kun is injured. I have to find him. Said Sakura frantically, running off only to be grabbed by the wrist. Sakura-chan. It was only a genjutsu. It's better if we stick together, then we will have a better chance against Kakashi-sensei, said Naruto reassuringly, earning him a nod from Sakura. Alright, was Sakura's reply. The pair walked briskly to where Naruto last saw Sasuke. The trip was awkward as Sakura was trying her best to start up a conversation only to be shushed by Naruto, telling her that ninja were supposed to be quiet. Suddenly, a scream that came from Sasuke bounced off of the trees into their ears. This caused Sakura to nearly scream in panic only for Naruto to shush her and comfort her. Now is not the time to panic, said Naruto, we'll find Sasuke-san, alright. Okay, Naruto-kun, she said, unaware of the kun suffix she had just added. They quickly made it to where the starting point of Sasuke's scream came from. Scrambling out of the bushes, the first thing that Sakura saw was Sasuke's head. She looked like she was going to faint, her eyes wide open. She swallowed as if holding back vomit and then looked at Sasuke. Sasuke just raised an eyebrow. Oh, Sakura-san, said Sasuke only for Sakura to clutch her head and scream loudly. This time it's a freshly severed head. She screamed just before fainting. Good thing Naruto was just on time to catch her. Naruto took a glance at what Sakura saw and nearly laughed his ass off. He held it in to keep his stoic reputation. He caught you with the Doton. Shinju's Anshu no Jutsu? Asked Naruto, to which Sasuke tried to nod but failed. Laying Sakura gently onto the grass, Naruto rolled up his sleeves, I'll get you out of there. With lots of grunting and muscle work, Naruto managed to drag Sasuke out of his rock prison. Brushing off the dust on his blue shirt, Sasuke begrudgingly muttered a thanks to which Naruto accepted. After a while longer, Sakura came to, and the first thing she saw was a worried Naruto hovering over her. Naruto-kun? She asked weakly, to which Naruto nodded. Where's Sasuke-kun? She asked. He's over there, replied Naruto, pointing to the Sasuke that was leaning up against a tree. Lending her a hand, Naruto pulled her up. He motioned for Sasuke to come over, to which he did. Gathering up his teammates, Naruto quickly formulated a plan. Sakura was eager to help and Sasuke begrudgingly accepted the plan since he couldn't come up with a better one. The clock was ticking, so they quickly commenced their plan. With Kakashi. Somewhere in Field 7. Kakashi wandered around with his book out. He was slightly frustrated that not a single one of the genin assigned to him had learned the true meaning of the exercise. Naruto had simply disappeared after his Kage Bushin stunt, Sakura was easily tricked with genjutsu, and Sasuke was too beepy for his own good. He leaned against a tree to relax for a bit, but that was short-lived as a flurry of kunai came at him from the bushes. Which one is it now? He thought as he nimbly dodged them. He landed nearby only to be assaulted by the delicate Sakura. Using her academy taijutsu, Sakura was barely able to lure him closer to the lake. Just as he had gotten into range, Sakura jumped off. Thought Kakashi as she saw Sakura dash away, only for him to be surprised as Naruto attacked him from behind. The drenched Naruto jumped out of the lake water, with his hands pressed together in a hand seal. Summoning an army of Kage Bushin, Naruto was able to disable every one of Kakashi's limbs, allowing his fellow teammates to retrieve the bells. We win, whispered the Naruto clone on his back, before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Team 7 assembled themselves in front of Kakashi. Sakura and Sasuke both held their bells with pride whilst Naruto had on his foxy grin. Kakashi looked almost proud at his squad. The silence went on before Kakashi raised a big thumbs up at his team. You pass. He said enthusiastically, earning him cheers of excitement from Sakura. Good job on understanding the meaning of this survival exercise. Congratulated Kakashi, to which Sasuke raised an eyebrow in confusion. Kakashi sighed quietly and walked a few steps towards the memorial stone. Looking over it quietly, Kakashi turned his back to the three genin. I want you to understand that those who break the rules are scum, but those who leave their comrades behind are worse than scum, said Kakashi, a hint of sadness in his voice. Don't worry, Kakashi-sensei. I would never leave behind my teammates, said Naruto, to which Kakashi smiled sadly. Let's go home, said Kakashi in finality as he turned his back, walking off of the training grounds. Good words to live by, kid, said Yoko in her wise voice. I'll take them to heart, was Naruto's reply. Good job, Naruto-kun. Cheered Sakura, breaking him out of his thought process, without you, we would have never gotten the bells. It was our teamwork that allowed us to get the bells, Sakura-chan, replied Naruto humbly, earning him a few points from Sakura. I'll see you guys tomorrow, said Naruto, before waving his goodbyes and taking his leave. Anko's apartment. It was early evening when Naruto finally got back to the apartment that he shared with Anko. Opening the door, he was welcomed with the sight of two of his lovers. Anko and Am. Anko had her trench coat off, revealing her curvy figure, held back by her mesh shirt and skirt. Am had on her cooking uniform, except for the bandana. As he walked in, he was able to pick out the faint aroma of ramen among the scents of his lovers. "Hey, Anko-chan. Am-chan," greeted Naruto happily. "Hi Naruto-kun," replied Am. "Hey, Naruto-kun. How did your real genin test go?" asked Anko before taking a bite out of a stick of dango. "It was easy," replied Naruto, to which both Anko and Am smiled. "I made you ramen, Naruto-kun," said Am happily as she held up 2 bowls of ramen with a few more bowls on the dinner table. "Thanks, Am-chan," replied Naruto with a foxy grin, earning him a blush from Am. Taking a moment to kiss the cheeks of both his lovers, he took a seat at the dining table. The ramen that Am made was delicious as always, and Naruto made sure to let Am know that through compliments. Anko, Am and Naruto had a very relaxing conversation as they all ate from their bowls of ramen. Anko learned of how late Kakashi was and promised to beat him up for Naruto, whilst Am just giggled at the idea. At last the meal was finished, and Naruto gathered up the bowls and put them into the sink. To Naruto's confusion, the 2 girls quickly retreated to the bedroom and closed the door. "I wonder what they're up to," thought Naruto as he walked up to the bedroom door. "Surprise," said Yoko in reply, suppressing a giggle. Opening the door, his eyes were given a treat as he saw Anko and Am both in their pristine underwear on the large bed. They looked lovingly at him as they both spread their legs for him. If Naruto was a lesser man, he would have been knocked out by a very strong nosebleed. Taking his coat off, Naruto made his way to the bed. Well. All this for me?" asked Naruto, his enthusiasm barely hidden. "Just a small gift for our stud," said Anko slyly, to which Am nodded in agreement. Showing off his trademarked foxy grin, Naruto took off the rest of his clothes, save for his boxers. The girls licked their lips hungrily as they eyed the large tent in his pants. Taking his seat on the bed, Naruto leaned in and planted his lips on Anko's. Her reaction was instant. She immediately wrapped her arms around him, pulling him in closer. She moaned lewdly into the kiss as she tried feeling more of him, hungry for his touch. Lemon scene happened. "You are so good to us," cooed Anko softly as she buried her face into his chest, taking in his manly scent. "You're amazing, Naruto-kun," said the exhausted Am. "I don't think I'll be able to get out of this bed for a while," said Anko softly, to which Naruto nodded. "Don't worry, ladies," began Naruto, "I won't go anywhere." "You better not," said Anko quietly before falling asleep, along with Am. Naruto sighed happily as the sound of his lover's breathing calmed his heartbeat, and soon, he fell asleep. Life was good. Chapter end. Alright, that's it for today's video guys. Let me know in the comments section how was the story, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in another video. Peace out.